Well, what we were just talking about free agents wanting to come to the Jets and being an enticing place to come, and the questions that I had that counteract that, I think that's a great place to start. So Jamel Adams leaves, and yes, the Jets get 2 first-round picks. They have capital to spend. Will they spend them the right way? We'll see.
Yeah.
But the things that Jamel Adams said when he left, I don't think that it can just go untouched. Adam Gase, first and foremost, letting other coaches handle player personnel issues. If a player's got a problem, he should feel like he should be able to go to his head coach, right? I mean, I want to start with that. And then CJ Mosley, the injury last year, was he really hurt? This year he opts out. Did he really want a part of this train wreck? Question that has to be put up to discussion. I also question Christopher Johnson, the owner, CEO, Joe Douglas, the GM, for bringing talent into the Jets and making it possible for other free agents to want to come here. And I want to, and then the picks too. I mean, the picks that they got from Jamel Adams, I want to know if they're actually going to make the most out of those picks. Yeah. Denzel Mims already hurt. Mekhi Becton, we'll see that if he can end up being a legit starting tackle. Although, again, Andrew Thomas, Tristan Wirfs, I felt like were better talented tackles coming out this year. Yeah. So I don't even know if the Jets are going to be able to spend those picks in the right way. And I just look at all the star talent that's left the Jets. Yeah. CJ Mosley doesn't want nothing to do with this. Jamel Adams gone. Demario Davis wasn't that long that he was here.
Yeah, but Demario Davis, I wouldn't consider a star though, Johnny.
You know what?
But wait. Quinnen Williams.
He's become a star since he's left.
Well, I only got one more thing to say because Leonard Williams, Quinnen Williams, they wasted picks on too because they thought that they were going to be the Aaron Donald at DT, and they were completely wrong about that. So don't even. So now that I've laid that out, why should any free agent want to come to the New York Jets? I want to know why. To look at Adam Gase's bug eyes.
Yeah. Who is this guy? Who is this guy?
Can you at least let me know what is appealing right now about the Jets? I mean, I want to know.
You know what, John?
Is that a hard question? That's a pretty simple one.
No, actually, that's a very simple question. And I'm going to say this just because this is really how I feel about this. You have hit the nail on the head 3 or 4 times already. All right. The thing is already banged in. There's a big ass dent in the wood in the whole 9. I'm telling you right now, because you really have touched on quite a few things that, because it's the Jets, maybe people are trying to, or some of our most optimistic fans, we'll just put it that way, they're glossing over. Okay, because everybody wants to believe that this is going to be, a turnaround season. Everybody wants to think that we're in a good position when it comes to the talent and the depth and all of that. And even me myself on this podcast, if you listen, CJ can back me up on this. I've said this a few times. If everything that has been put in place works exactly as we hope that it does, we'll be a good team.
Yes, absolutely.
But also, I've said this. This is the New York Jets.
Well, it is. There is no doubt about that. But see, now here's the thing. I want to be positive though too, because I want to say the positives about this team, because I don't want to sound like I'm going to be completely negative, because I'm not. Because I take the good and the bad. I am given what I'm dealt with here from the organizations, and this isn't even my money that's being spent, and I feel the way I do. Imagine what these billionaires feel like. Right. So, all right. So Sam Darnold, legit franchise quarterback. I honestly believe that. He's tough, stands in the pocket, gets it done. Yeah. What did they do to help him out? Can you go ahead?
If I were to say that, I would say offensive line first and foremost. Again, unproven, still a huge question mark, probably the question mark, because everything else actually really kind of falls in line behind. Has Joe Douglas done what it is that he's needed to do to solidify the pocket around Sam Darnold? Again, we say franchise quarterback. I believe in that. I'm a USC guy. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in California. I was born in New York, obviously spent a lot of time there, went back and stayed and lived. And my roots, my family, my heart is still in New York, always with the Jets. But, being in California, you kind of come to some things, and USC was one of those things. I watched USC every single year. So I saw Sam Darnold come up. I saw Sam Darnold be good. I've listened to my boys, the guys who I still know and talk to. They're talk to me about this kid. So I mean, I get it. Sam Darnold's a franchise quarterback. If he has 2.5 seconds, he can be an elite quarterback in this league. He didn't have 2.5 seconds last season. Does he have it now? With what it is that Joe Douglas did with the offensive line, does that make a difference? That in itself, that means that the question about Le'Veon Bell and his role on this team, is he going to be effective? He couldn't be effective behind that offensive line. If the offensive line is improved, Le'Veon Bell is improved. If Le'Veon Bell is improved, who else is better? Sam Darnold.
Well, that's where I wanted to bring up that question too about Le'Veon Bell again, because why didn't Adam Gase draw up plays? Why didn't Adam Gase draw up plays for him to catch the ball out of the backfield and get creative with it?
This is a trickle down thing. And I think, and because I believe that point, I've asked that question to myself. The reason why maybe he didn't attempt to is because he couldn't, because we didn't have an offensive line. You know, that again is kind of where this starts. We've seen all of these guys flash enough talent to say that they can be good. If the offensive line gives them an opportunity to be more consistent with what it is that they flash with, we are a better team. We're a better organization. We're better everything. We're not a laughing stock. And that in itself is what entices free agents. We're not there yet, though. That's the problem. You know,
right.
that again is the issue.
And I'll let CJ chime in because we've been talking a while. For the offensive line, though, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It's just at the same time, you could say that about any team. Like any team could wish the O-line was better, but at the same time, like look at Dallas with Dak Prescott, just as an example. Yeah. How good remember his rookie season, how great that was because the O-line was doing everything. Remember Jared Goff? That O-line actually got him paid, and now that they're gone, they're in turmoil. See, now everybody could say that about the O-line, but for me, it's really just about the fact that Darnold's a franchise quarterback, and I believe they just need to put weapons around him. Yeah. Like they need to do better than Denzel Mims and Brashad Perryman.
Yeah,
I actually like Chris Herndon though at tight end. Like he's legit good at tight end at receiving. But I wish they would have done more for Darnold the past couple of years.
I agree.
All right. Well, first off, you're listening to Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network and Sports War Radio. CJ the Painkiller D. Simone here. Kevin Jackson on the other side of the glass right there. Our special guest, Mr. John Gifford from the Gift Up Football Podcast on YouTube.com. Before I give my thoughts on here, I have quite a few comments that I want to read here on the air, and I want to thank everyone who's taken the opportunity to comment. Keep those comments coming because we love reading these things on the air. A couple actually aimed directly at our special guest here. Errol Marks will lead it off. It was always about the money in regards to the Jamel Adams situation. I kind of half-heartedly agree.
And I just think that did CJ get locked up a little bit?
That he's listening right now for us. A good buddy of ours, his name is Staff Sergeant Munoz from the 45th Medical Group. He is actually going to be leaving the pharmacy that I work at over at Patrick Air Force Base, and he's moving on to bigger and better things. So I want to wish him well. He's actually joining us today on the live feed. So Munoz, thank you so much for tuning in. You're the man. I love you to death. I'm going to miss the hell out of you. You have no idea. Please keep in touch with us, and I hope you continue to watch the show in the future. So good old Eddie Delgado. All right. El Chapo chiming in because, you know, we got to have Chapo chiming in over here. So he starts off by saying, I couldn't agree with your guest anymore in regards. I couldn't disagree with your guest anymore. I'm sorry. I read that there.
That's usually the case.
Also mentioned the Becton is one of 5 players on the O-line. Mac is no longer the GM. This is Joe Douglas's team now. Kevin, he sent you a message, sweep the leg. All right. Shout out to Simon Baccarella. Jamal is the biggest tool. I hope he fails over in Seattle. Shout out to Lowell Litchmore, one of our listeners here. He actually says that your voice, he said you should be doing play-by-play someplace there, John. You should be doing for
I appreciate it. I stay humble, though. I stay humble.
That's what's good.
Thanks
for being on, guys. We appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you, guys.
Simon again came in. Bell came here. Mosley came here. Free agents will continue to come here as long as we build. And there are so many others.
It's a money issue. That's a money thing, though. You know what I'm saying? Really.
Right. Well,
it's all about the money.
Because if they come here, it's because they're the highest paid player at their position in the league. That's kind of how the aura of this team actually positions us, and we have to do that. Who wants to come and knowing they're not going to win until we win? That
right.
Can I bring up a good example? Everson Griffin going to the Cowboys recently to pair with DeMarcus Lawrence on a pretty complete roster. See, now that's where you get that veteran talent. You get free agents to come to your team. The Jets don't have that. They don't have that enticement to get players like Everson Griffin, Clowney to come there.
Yeah,
it's just something to think about.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. A lot.
Right. We do have a lot of work to do. But you know what? Here's the thing: we can't sit here and singularly look at Jamel Adams being traded and acting like the complete douche that he's acted all offseason. We can't pretend that didn't happen. Okay. Now, one of the things too that we have to look at as far as free agents coming to the New York Jets. Free agents come to the New York Jets as long as they're willing to sign the check. Okay. Because the New York Jets for years has been the old age retirement home for the NFL. Okay. We have always signed players on the downslopes of their careers. Okay. Who have little to nothing left in the tank. But because they know that the New York Jets are so desperate that they will write whatever number they ask. Okay. And that to me is a crock of bullshit. So this is where Joe Douglas has come in and put his foot down and is now saying the time for screwing around is over, regardless whether you like Adam Gase, regardless whether you like Greg Williams. Because the only way that Adam Gase and Greg Williams are going to be successful is Joe Douglas bringing in quality players that are actually going to come in here and are going to play. All right? The offensive line last year was a disaster. We would have did better with a couple of rain barrels and a couple of traffic cones. We were the worst in football. Okay? Jamal went on the complete tweet fest, roasting everybody in the facility. The New York Jets did not say not one single bad word about him. Nothing. They had every opportunity to. They had every opportunity to tell him to shut his mouth. And you know what? They didn't. They didn't publicly embarrass themselves. They didn't publicly embarrass the player. The player embarrassed himself.
They could have told him to shut his mouth, or they could have told him, listen, we're not going to be able to handle this contract situation until maybe next season.
Right.
Listen, that's something that we can. I don't want to argue about that. I'm sorry. Please.
Right. So another thing, as far as the front office, and John, I completely agree with you. This franchise's front office has been a complete and utter mess. A complete and utter mess. Okay. Yeah. Since Bill Parcells. After Parcells left and his staff left, a little bit with Herm Edwards, we had a little bit of stability. We had a little bit of stability when Rex Ryan first got here. And after that, we had nothing. We had absolute trash here. Okay? Now, you could blame Woody Johnson all you want. You could blame Chris Johnson all you want. I will go back and blame friggin' Leon Hess, who's rotting in a friggin' grave right now.
He sold the team.
Okay? My hatred goes back a long way for this team. Okay? With the moves and the garbage that they pulled. But here's what Joe Douglas brings to the table. 3 Super Bowl rings. That's 3 more than anybody else that we've brought into this facility in the last 10 years. This man is determined to build a championship pedigree football team here in New York. And the same way that we were patient with McCagnon, we were patient with Idzik, we were patient with Bradway, and the other jokes that came after them, we need to be patient with Douglas. Like it or not,